Nick, first up, how was your experience? How many snans did I say? Six snans.
Six Sangam snans in the Triveni Sangam.
VVIP snans or the one with the public snans?
With the public. I mean, I think anyone who's fortunate enough to take a boat to the Sangam is a VIP in a sense. But I also walked on the Sangam nose with millions of people on several of those occasions. So I've done it from different directions. I'm very, very, very lucky.
What do you come back with?
Gratitude. Just immense gratitude. It was the most extraordinary month of my life. It was one series of extraordinary experiences after another. And the most important ones are the fact that, as you rightly said, at its purest level, this is taking a bath, taking a snan in 2 or 3 sacred rivers, coming together as one, underneath the sun, with the moon. So whether it's the Posh Purnima, whether it was Makar Sankranti, whether it was the Amavasya, you're aware of celestial cycles, you're aware of rivers that give life, you're aware of the sun that gives us light and life. It is extraordinarily powerful from a nature and that perspective. But the people that we were meeting on each of these occasions, and the ability to bring my wife and my 9-year-old daughter to the Sangam, to the Triveni Sangam, to bathe in those waters is something that obviously we will never forget as a family.
One quick question I'll ask you before we cut across to our other guests is, Nick, I'm sure you followed Indian culture, spirituality in the country for many, many years. You've been, this is your first Mahakumbh, but you've been to the other Kumbhs before. So the question that I ask you is, how was this Kumbh different? Was it different at all? What's the messaging that's going, you're from the UK.
I mean, it's so hard to describe the differences. The scale, obviously, is beyond anything. I think what's really interesting about this Kumbh Mela is that this has been the least mediated Kumbh Mela. So we've had more people, hundreds of millions of people, who have a first-hand personal experience of going to Prayagraj as a Tirthyatri, visiting, taking a snan at the Sangam, and returning with their real lived experience. And we also have, thanks to technology, I was live on 5G, actually, in the Sangam on Instagram several times. So thanks to the technology, we were able to FaceTime, to WhatsApp video call, to record videos, to post them on social media. So unlike previous Kumbh Melas, which had either been mediated by the media, like yourself, or by writers, BBC correspondents, Chinese travelers, if we go back to the 7th century Shanzang, inscriptions of Samudragupta or Ashoka on pillars, or references to the Margi Melas, all of these references have been mediated. But this time, it is people themselves coming back all over India, all over the world, with stories of the Sangam and of their experience at Prayagraj.
Stay with me, Nick. Let me just open up the debate. Ashutosh, let me come to you on some of the big questions that, we've been posing here. There are 2 ways of looking at the Mahakumbh, and where we get in the politics of it all, Ashutosh, in it, somewhere down the line, do you think that political parties, especially the opposition, conflated both the Mahakumbh with administrative failure? They should have made that distinction, because when you're talking to people who are coming there, and they're coming there in droves, the number of 64 crores, that's practically half of the Hindu population. Even if it's not 64 and closer to that, we're talking about a sizable population. And all of them coming in seem to be in ecstasy.
See, Preeti, I'm privileged in that sense because I had lived longer in Allahabad, so I had seen Kumbh, how this congregation has happened on such occasion. But unfortunate part is that today, that any religious function or any religious thing suddenly becomes very political. And fortunately or unfortunately, we have forgotten to make a distinction between the politics and the religion, or the spirituality and the politics around it. I will blame not only opposition but also the government. The government has also tried to politicize and tried to get the mileage out of it. And the kind of arrangement was done. Yes, certainly the good arrangements were made, but then the government also has to take the responsibility for this, for the stampede and for the mismanagement. It cannot just happen that you take the responsibility for the good things done, but anything bad happens, then you just disown it or blame only to the opposition. Opposition has also been has to be a bit more sensitive about the feelings of the people. You just can't pass any comment here and there, and then you can ridicule somebody. I don't approve of that. But the fact of the matter is that whether it is opposition or the government, both are equally to be blamed. If the Yogi government wanted to package it as something which has never happened, I had lived in Allahabad. I know this, that the Kumbh has always been celebrated and a large number of people had always come over there. But unfortunately, those were the days when social media was not there. The media was not so open. So obviously it couldn't be packaged that way. Or the government at that point of time never tried to package it or to promote themselves or to their political parties. That's the sad part of it. I think we have to learn to distinguish between the spirituality and the politics around it.
All right, Karan Verma, now it does seem the Kumbh was appropriated by the Bharatiya Janata Party, and the opposition did itself no favors by using language which one would think, made sense because they were raising issues of mismanagement, of administrative failure, and you could see that. The government really was ill-equipped to handle the kind of crowds, that actually came into the Kumbh. But do you see the BJP, because you're living in the world of politics, and they've been able to leverage maximum mileage of this religious event?
So, Preeti, at the outset, let's for a minute understand this, that it is the biggest ever gathering. Ashutosh ji said that we've had big gatherings. Never have we seen something like this, 65 crore people. And the kind of temple economy, the spiritual economy that we are seeing, it's a new model today right at the front, where BJP says Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi. And it's a testament to that. The kind of visitors today we have in Ayodhya, in Varanasi, and now in the Mahakumbh speaks volumes about that. When the opposition says Mrityu Kumbh, as Mamata Banerjee said, or as Lalu Prasad Yadav said, Kumbh faltu hai, it is not raising questions on the administration. If you want to raise questions on the administration, that's most welcome. Accountability must be welcome. But when you cast aspersions on an entire parampara and say it is faltu, or when Samajwadi Party uses words like chapri, ye chapri the jo wahan pe naha rahe the, that is derisive. That is where you are hurting sentiments. So you're not doing anyone good. And BJP, the fact is that if they've been able to, if the government, UP government has been able to pull this off, it is an achievement. Of course, there could be aberrations. There could be certain things which didn't go the right way. And that's unfortunate. There, the accountability needs to be fixed. But let's understand this.